Hello and welcome to Elite Rounders coaching channel. Today we are looking a little bit like how to play 200 big blinds deep. I know this is not so normal for tournaments because a lot of tournaments start today, 75, 100 big blinds, something like that. I think people do tend to get a little bit bored playing 200 big blinds deep. Um, so actually that's good tip to keep in mind. Play solid because people get bored. So it's not cash games. So I was just wondering, what should be open 200 big blinds deep? What sort of bet size we should use? Um, so Focus on me, for example, prefers 2.75x basically. Uh, this is 200 big blinds deep, 510 antes, sorry, 5 and 10 big blind, $5 and $10, and then ante is 1.25. So we have roughly 12.5x ante, which is pretty standard these days at 8 max table. So basically, we are looking at like how we should play normal MTT, what sort of ranges. So another option is like we use min raise here, for example. That would change the ranges bit. So we would have something like opening range of 14%. You can see that it doesn't really, it just tightens our range. What other hands 6-5 suited is still open, but for example, if we open 5-4 suited with smaller size, which is kind of interesting. But it does seem like PokerSnowy would rather open 2.75 than min raise 200 big blinds deep. I mean, it probably has something to do with so many players behind them just getting very good price versus your any hand. Um, so basically, you kind of want to raise protection and value in a sense. And when you have so many players behind, they have, I guess, more possibility to flat behind. So maybe you want to make people fold a bit more pre-flop. Because again, it's not ideal to have 4-5 way pot with aces. Actually, it's not the best situation in the world. Aces, kings, queens still prefer having like max 3-way. I do think so. Like versus one player, it's very easy to just value bet aces, kings, like all the streets, right? Like, but again, there's three players. Some boards, it's not that clear that you can actually value bet these hands if you have overpair, you know. Um, so that is something to consider. So kind of like getting a couple people out of the pot is a big benefit for us in a sense. But yeah, what other options we do have here? We could also open pot, which would be like 4.5x. Then you see that the range becomes kind of way tighter, 10.64%. So this is totally viable option too. I think this is like something you could consider if the players behind you are very loose, um, and so on. Um, but definitely there are different options. Again, I think so many people think there's only one right option. Like people ask me like, what is the right sizing? Well, the right sizing it probably depends on your game, what you play. So there's not really like one correct answer, and that works with a lot of situations in poker. If I say some general tip, it can help you, but it can be also wrong for the certain environment. It's like if I'm telling some exploitation basically, and I'm making wrong judgment about your environment, right? That can be terrible advice. So in a sense, it's nice to know what is GTO, but like if your game doesn't play anything close to game theory, then throw it away. Obviously, don't use game theory in such an environment. If nobody's willing to follow GTO, uh, and you can do exploitative strategy which can make you way more money, right? Or change like different GTO approach, like for example, opening bigger size instead of like if the smaller size doesn't help you as much as pot size, for example, in this case. Maybe 4.5 is more optimal in your environment than 2.75, right? So I think these are the questions you need to ask yourself. Is this environment I want to use min raise? If everybody fold every hand, like if they would just fold 95% everybody and they would just play aces, top 5%, I would probably use min raise and probably open like way too many hands. If you never get any action and they have top 5% hand, it's probably like, I don't know exactly, can't say exactly what I would open under the gun. Maybe it would be like 50%, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that's sort of things you need to consider in poker. What opening range size, what sort of environment you're playing against. Are there button probably playing very tight or loose? Are they going to call very wide no matter what you open? So I think these are like things you really want to consider. Um, but yeah, so I think today actually this video was kind of good on focusing on this bet size pre-flop. So we will continue on this, but I hope this opened a little bit ideas at least for you, if nothing else. So